In honor of World War I, we have two veterans here today. Although they were once adversaries in Europe, they have come together in order to share their experiences. Many people thought that World War I would be a quick and romantic war, but you will soon find out the truth. So, here today, please welcome Franz Schweif from Germany and Jacques Pierre from France. Bonjour.
Guten Tag.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to start out by asking Mr. Schweif the first question. Mr. Schweif, what type of fighting were you involved with?
My typical fighting location was in the air. I participated in dogfights on behalf of Germany, Austria, Hungary, and somewhat Italy. This type of fighting involved aircrafts in which bombs were attached to each plane and machine guns and weapons were present. People were, so to speak, excited since the airplane had recently been invented in 1903. However, when you are in the air, there was no place to hide. Enemy planes were constantly dodging each other, and even the glare of the sun was distracting.
Thank you. A message from Callie in Massachusetts has just come in. She asks, I'm learning about World War I in school. Could you please explain the Battle of Verdun to me? Mr. Pierre, would you care to answer?
Not a problem. Unlike Mr. Schweif, I fought on land and actually was a part of this battle. February of 1916 was when we started to fight in my homeland, France. We protected the city of Verdun, though underground forts. After fighting many local battles, France showed how strong we were in our military as a nation. Unfortunately, a total of over 300,000 people died.
Thank you, Mr. Pierre. Now let's take a look at Mr. Pierre's first introduction of the war.
Now listen to me, son. Memorizing these weapons and mobiles will help you and France. Look here. This is the rifle. It is mostly used by the British soldiers, but beware because it can be fired from 1,400 meters away.
Daddy, what's this?
That, my boy, is poisonous gas.
Oh boy, what does it do?
It causes a burning sensation in the throat and chest. Death can occur of suffocation. It is the most deadly weapon, colorless, and becomes effective in 12 hours. Look out for symptoms such as sore eyes and blistering skin.
I hope that never happens to me. My teacher mentioned torpedoes in school today. What are those?
They are mostly used by the submarines to blow up other ships. Avoid them.
I have just received another message from Eric in Kentucky. He asks, what is the significance of the Battle of the Marne? Mr. Pierre, could you please explain this particular battle to Eric?
Yes, I'd be honored to answer, even though both Mr. Schweif and I fought in it. This is one of the earliest battles, seeing that it was in the first year of the war in 1914. We, the French, were forced to alter our layout due to Germany's surprise attack on Paris. Then we were ordered to enter Paris to avoid our city from being captured by the Germans. Because this attack was so unexpected, we almost lost. But then, 6,000 French reserve troops arrived to the front line. Although neither side won, it was amazing that we, along with the British, held off the surprise attack of the Germans.
Thank you, Mr. Pierre. Now to you, Mr. Schweif. World War I presented a new type of fighting. The creation of trenches were established. Although we have now realized that they were inefficient stalemates, please describe your own experience in the trenches.
Yes, indeed. An experience in the trenches can be summed up in 4 words. Death was a companion. To elaborate on this phrase, I will describe the conditions and then tell you about an experience I encountered. Trenches were basically underground hideouts with multiple passageways and tunnels. However, I must not complain about German trenches in contrast to France's muddy, extremely unsafe and unsanitary conditions. Germans' trenches had most of the necessities. We had toilets, beds, and even electricity. One time my friend and I were stationed in the front line of our trench. It had just rained, and we were covered in water up to our knees. We were both shivering. He had given up hope and let a rat the size of a dog nibble on him till he ran out of flesh and died.
I'm so sorry to hear about that, Mr. Schweif. Reflecting on this type of fighting, many of us have realized how ineffective and dangerous these stalemates really were for 4 years. Before we wrap this up, I would like to show you a few artifacts from the war. This is the guy Mr. Pierre's father used to teach him about the mobiles and weapons for the war. And this is a trench design taught by Mr. Schweif to his commander. Now, if you all will please give a round of applause to these two courageous veterans